We're back, baby. It's the Charity Stripe Pitcher Free Throws because they are free. Joshua Fisher, Alexander Toss Me the Rock. To Sopolis, best to Bleav right here on Stadium. We have Cannon Fire. Clip from Cannon Fire. Rhett and Evan talking some Julio Jones. Is he back? Enjoy.
I mean, Julio Jones is back. I don't want to say it too soon. I know this is the week one overreaction show, but Julio Jones is back, pal.
He might be. that catch, one. Everybody thinks that 45-year-old Tom Brady's going to lose arm strength. That just show him that throw, because that throw was a rope, and evidently the Bucs thought so too, because they had him attempted a cross field pass to Julio Jones. I don't know how they thought that was going to be completed, but that Julio catch was unreal. That was like prime Julio Jones. Now he lacks, I think, the explosiveness in terms of like speed. I don't think that's coming back, but if he can give you that 3 catches a game and make that sort of impact, that's fantastic, especially with guys like Godwin and Gage, working themselves back into it. It'll be interesting to see how they work it, but if you get that Julio every week, that's tough for a defense to stop.
I think he just got hurt. I don't think he's so talented as a player. He's not the kind of guy that's going to leave. As he's playing.
People were saying last year and the year prior that he was washed.
Because he was hurt.
Yeah.
And he was in Tennessee, where they may have a quarterback issue. A little early. Just saying. If you want to win the whole thing, is he the guy? Your team better be really good everywhere else. I don't know if that team is really good everywhere else.
They have been really good everywhere else.
Titans?
Except the wide receiver, except the skill positions.
But their wide receiver positions are always bad.
But they have had a very good defense with a really good offensive line and the best running back in football.
Sure. And you know who's got the best defense in football maybe?
The Bucs.
The Bucs. And maybe the best wide receiver room if everyone's healthy? The Bucs. Russell Gage, everyone was like, oh, Russell Gage. I mean, first of all, Leonard Fournette's amazing.
He really is. He's a beast.
Talk about circumstance, and I hate to pull this card on you because we've been arguing about circumstance all day.
Yeah.
Getting drafted by the Jaguars is a bad circumstance, and that's a fact.
I don't disagree with that.
I know you don't
There's a
disagree.
difference between the Jags and the Broncos.
That's true because the Broncos were a discussion. Julio Jones, even if Julio Jones is 80% of Julio, he doesn't have to be Julio Jones because you have Mike Evans, who's still a top 10 for sure. Maybe at some days top 5 receiver in the National Football League.
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, who is a good weapon to utilize as your third, fourth receiver.
Fournette, Rashad White. This team is dangerous, bro.
Yeah, Fournette's such a good pass catcher.
They're a juggernaut. That might be the NFC pick. It's not sexy.
It was. Coming into the season, they had the best odds.
And I think it should be. Another team that has good odds, in my mind and in our mind, the Saints.
Your Super Bowl pick.
A Super Bowl
on the
pick,
NFC side.
Bleav in Saints, David Grubb and Terrence Copper talking some Saints football.
But I was still, even though I'm glad we got the win, and there's no such thing as an ugly win. A win is a win. So we'll take it however it comes. But I was disappointed in our defense early, because I feel like we was getting out physical. But you got to take your hat off to Mariota. Like, I gotta take my hat off to him because he played a good game. He didn't play a bad game. He managed the ball. He ran it when he needed to run it. He put his receivers in good positions. So I did not expect that Mariota to come out and play against us. Their offensive coordinator, the Falcons offensive coordinator, called a great game against us. A great game. So you got to take your hats off to the Falcons. It wasn't all because, like I said, the Saints played bad, which we could have played better, but the Falcons came out and played some good football.
I think that was the thing that was surprising, was just how physical the Falcons were from the beginning on both sides of the football, and that the Saints were getting out physical at the point of attack on the offensive line and the defensive line from jump. That was probably the biggest surprise to me.
They're actually talking some Falcons football here, but I want to give a shout out to Arthur Smith and his family. Really creative mind, and there's a lot of fun. The Falcons are kind of a fun team.
They are.
Patterson's a kind of a gadgety player. He is a gadgety player, and he ran the ball really well.
Mariota's kind of a gadgety quarterback.
He is and then you have London, who's a big body receiver. Pitts is kind of like, I guess, some ways gadgety tight end style. He's more of like a receiving tight end.
Sure.
I think the Falcons team is very, very good for what we thought it would be. Very good.
Yeah, there's obviously still not enough guys on the defensive side of the ball.
No, they're a draft away though, maybe.
But they were playing a team that a lot of people really liked in the Saints week 1, and I thought there was some healthy criticism from David and from TC, Terrence Copper, in this last clip that you just saw. I mean, I think that the line play needs to be much better for the Saints.
Has to be. Has to be.
When Jameis needed to be good, he turned it on. I think they also have a good, talk about the Bucs and what kind of receivers they have. Michael Thomas looks back, right? Mm-hmm. Olave looked really good, and you have Kamara. I mean, this is a team that has weapons, but their line play has to be dominant, or else they're not going to have a decent shot at 1, taking this division, or 2, sneaking into the NFC playoffs as a wild card spot and making some noise.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I will say. Teron Armstead, who was the left tackle last year for the Saints, Dolphin now. Just want to throw that out there.
Sure.
An interesting tidbit. I think the Saints will get cooking. Kamara wasn't fully healthy in that game. Michael Thomas, they completely started clicking in the second half.
Yeah,
and Juice was great.
And they looked like, in the second half, a top 10 offense in the NFL. Speaking of top 10 offenses in the NFL.
This is an interesting hill.
This is a hot take of mine, and kind of a joke that I have now turned into a take that I will defend with all of my honor.
Because you're my boy.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to cut to Bleav in Lions with Glover Quinn and Jack Kavanaugh. Check it out.
Right, they come out the first drive. They look dominant on offense. They come out defensively and they get a stop. And then, like you say, the next drive, 3 and out. Next drive, 3 and out. Next drive, 3 and out. Next drive, pick 6. Like, you can't go 4 drives with 3 and outs and a pick 6. It's just too, like, what happened to the same thing that you were doing the first drive? You get away from the running game, trying to throw the ball. Jared Goff is not that guy. Let him live off the run game and the play action passes. You get away from the running game. I mean, I don't know. Like, DeAndre Swift was unstoppable all game.
Completely.
All game. Like, the first drive, he's unstoppable. Why not go right back to that the second drive? Make them stop you. And they didn't do that. And obviously, you go 3 and out. It took him four possessions after giving up 6 points offensively to get back on. And then look at the 6th drive. DeAndre Swift scores a touchdown. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, Swift he was so dominant. Like 15 carries, 144 on the ground. In the air, 4 receptions, 38 yards, 182 from scrimmage on just 19 touches. They had no answer. There was absolutely no answer for the swiftness of DeAndre Swift.
Jack Kavanaugh was like, he's talking about dying on a hill. He's dying on
I thought we were like Weekend at Bernie's there for a second.
Oh, he beat me to
You can't even he didn't move at all, and he's just sitting there with those shades on. Someone check the pulse.
It's like Weekend at Bernie's meets the Goofy movie when he's like, it's a very deep cut.
Yeah.
When he does the performance in the high school with the glasses. Yeah. I thought that was like, it's like some kind of combo of that. But he looks great.
They're both right though. They abandoned the run. Goff is a play action style quarterback.
Yeah. Swift's their best player.
Yeah.
On offense. He had 15 carries for 144. You know what the alarming thing? He's a great receiving back. He had 1 catch. Get the ball in your playmaker's hands. You asked me the question.
And it's not even that though. Like you have Swift and you have Jamal Williams, who's also a really good backup running back or a guy to spell DeAndre. He scored. He got in the end zone. We saw what he could do with Aaron Jones. Like, give them both the rock.
Yeah.
You don't need to stray from the run. You have 2 guys that are very capable runners. One of the guys you think could what? Is he the best Georgia running back in the NFL?
That's what I wanted you to ask me.
I just asked you.
No, because Nick Chubb
is the competition.
Is the competition, and Nick Chubb is still Nick Chubb and had an amazing game.
He did.
But let's see get the ball in DeAndre Swift's hands and prove me wrong, because it can happen. Let's talk about DeAndre Swift. Let's start talking about him as one of the top 5 guys in the league, because he deserves to be talked about when he's playing. I'm just saying.
Top 5?
Why not?
Henry, Taylor, Chubb, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
If Saquon keeps this up, I can't have him out of my 5.
Sure, but if Swift keeps this up.
What about Najee?
What about Cook? There's a lot of good guys in the league.
Yeah.
But I think
he's in contention. He's in contention.
He's in contention. And you know who's in contention for one of the greatest seasons in baseball history? Aaron Judge. Matt Holliday, Casey Stern on Casey Stern Unfiltered, talking a little Aaron Judge, Matt Holliday's former teammate, when we return right here on Stadium Best to Bleav. Joshua Fisher, Alexander Tossman, The Rock Tassopoulos. hit your free throws.